Okay, in this video I want to discuss the notion of irony in postmodernism, and I'm not going to go in depth, and I'm not going to give a ton of examples because we've run across this notion before and we've talked about it before, but it's good to have a place to go to remember it and to be able to review it, the basic notion. All right, so irony for the postmodern culture. And again, I feel it's necessary to remind you that when art writers or material talks about the postmodern culture, by default they must be talking about a fraction of the culture that is in itself a collective majority. And remember, if you have 10 people and 7 are not agreed about anything, so they have their own views, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, but 3 of the 10 are agreed on one view, and that view is view A, then view A, even though it's only 30%, is going to be viewed as the major player of the views that exist in the 10 people group. So we don't have to be thinking in terms of 90% of the people out there are going to do this. As long as the other 70% are so fractured they can't be collected together. It's 3%, 2%, 5%, 2%, 3%. That way, 30% looks like a huge group. Okay, so that's what I think we can even go down to that level, to say even that amount is going to be viewed as the characteristic view of a society if all the other views are fragmented or not collected. Now, so what is this notion of irony? Irony is the idea as it plays out in cultural practice or everyday life practice of knowing that you have to use a certain language in a certain situation that betokens or sort of suggests a level of commitment and concern that you truly don't have concerning this thing, but it's good to, for the moment, suggest that you have it, or if you can, for that moment, raise it up in you, and in order to have success in that situation. For example, here's a situation: if you are working your way up a career ladder, and in this business, whatever it is, let's say managing a restaurant or whatnot, you begin to work with the assistant manager, then you become the assistant manager, and then you're actually working with the owner. And this owner or whatnot, I mean, he has or she has this deep-seated commitment to this restaurant, whatever it is. And when she talks to you, you can sense that she thinks it's the best, she wants it to be the best, and all that. And you're thinking, it's fine. I guess it's okay. I prefer another type of food. Actually, I would rather run this other type of restaurant, but I need the experience. It would, and I also it's a good job. I want to be working here for the next 3 or 4 years. How are you going to talk to this person if this person starts trying or starts expecting to hear words of concern from you? By concern, I don't mean like you're worried about something, but this person wants to start picking up senses or connotations in your voice that suggest to this person that you're just as committed as he is or she is to the restaurant. You might be tempted, or you might begin to you kind of play along, not necessarily deceptively, but you might, at least for that time you're there, say, oh yeah, I love this food, or I like it, or just just somehow guard your words or craft your words so that this owner can kind of sense a camaraderie or a what's the word, companion spirit in you, so that he or she feels comfortable letting you have their baby, in this sense. And then, after, you just go home and you're like, oh man, I just don't really care all that much about that restaurant. and the food I'm learning a lot. I like the people I'm working for, but frankly, I don't think it's a great restaurant. Um, and then the next day you're like, oh yeah, it's great, it's fine, it's fine. And actually, it does border on, I guess, deception or whatnot. But that's irony. That's irony. Now here's where it gets a little more pernicious, or a little more interwoven in our everyday lives. How about when everyone is telling you what your next step in life should be, and how it's important to do X, Y, or Z, how it's important to save for retirement. So you should start saving now. Um, and you haven't really critically thought about it, but you just know that if you actually do it, it seems to be an acceptable practice in the society. The people around you may begin to respect you more. It just seems to be the right next step. Going to college is like this too. How do you know that you should be in college right now? Well, it's like everyone's telling me this is where I need to go, and or do or whatnot. And then eventually you yourself start using that language, and you actually use it in good faith. You're like, this is the place, this is what I need to do, this is the next step. But underneath it all, okay, now I'm not saying this is, I'm just saying for some people it might be underneath it all, you're realizing this really isn't for me. This isn't the next step. This isn't what I want to do in terms of as I look ahead and my options, and where I want to get my training or my experience, or just what I think I can do in life. This isn't what it's cut out to be. It isn't for me. That's what. But on the surface, you're still going through the actions. You're still coming to class. You're still, saying that it is the right thing, or the thing you're doing now strategically and all that. But then underneath, you're just questioning it all. Okay, when you start living with those two levels, and not knowing what to do with those two levels, or now this is when you really embrace the irony of it, when you just start playing the two levels, and you say, you know what, I'll just work both levels to my advantage. And I know that sort of idea can be applicable to many situations in your actual everyday life. And if you just find, just on one level, it's just easy and convenient, and it makes people happy, and I work better with that if I just act this way about this thing. And then, but underneath it all, I can't deny it. If I can ever talk to someone honestly about this, it just doesn't make any sense to me down here. But I can use the language, and I can sort of, I know what to say and how to act, so that up here, although I don't really buy into it, I can interact well with other people, and I can use them to, I can be helped by them, or I can actually help them too. But so I know the language to use up here, and it helps with my everyday life as I interact in my networking and my social activity. But don't ask me to actually embrace it down here on this level. So when you have those two levels going, I really think that that's the notion that best captures what the type of irony that these readings keep on referring to.